Okay, so moving from slightly different strategy while it's still in cloud, enterprises have had a wonderful journey moving from their legacy system or say the infrastructure to go towards different versions of the cloud, be it hybrid, be it completely on cloud, and it is a wonderful journey that we have done. But along with that journey comes the aspect of resilience, where I think now a lot of interventions, both manual, AI driven, these interventions are required to ensure that resilience factor. And definitely enterprises are looking forward to various solutions on how we can utilize AI, automation, or cloud native architectures to transform the overall security aspect of the infrastructure and move towards a more proactive approach rather than the reactive approach. And with that one, Naseem, I'll move to you first. You have been there working and also engaged with organizations who have been digital natives. So beyond the transition, we just talked about the digital native organization. How do you envision achieving the cyber resilience through automation, through AI and the cloud native transformative technologies? How has been it? And what kind of, when it comes to resilience, so what kind of human intervention or real-time threat response and recovery approach have you seen in the digital native organizations?
Hi. Would say I'd say let me put it in a little bit different way. If I probably take the trailer version of Gavin and Simranpreet, what they have left, it's more like that. Both of them are happy with the answer of a Chat GPT, and the fact is that the Chat GPT is a single LLM model for both the people are getting a different answer, and both of them are happy. So today, AI literally can add value and make you happy even in your cloud structure as well, right? It's more like a self-healing structure. So today, if I say, AI, how AI is basically building or helping the complete cyber resilience, there are two, three things I believe that's literally, the key for all AI innovation or AI transformation in cloud. Especially if I say the first thing is that augmentation of human capital. We as a human has a deficiency to work 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours. But literally, if your AI is, or I'd say your AI engine is capable enough or having the right context, right data, literally they can work for 24 into 7. That is point number one. Point number two, I would say the predictive resilience, right? What can go bad, right? And that predicts that information and do the needful before it's go bad, or suppress that complete analogy, complete problem before it's impacting you. And I believe, I think last week I was having a discussion with one of my CIO friend, and they are saying, dude, I'm literally facing challenge to perform my BCPDR drill. The problem is coming like that, RBI is mandated for all the BFSI that your BCPDR deal need to be done in a 24 into 7 hours, 24 hours from your DR side. And the problem is that they are already using AI at a very high level and they are doing pretty good over there. And they enable this feature, that self-healing of their cloud infrastructure. The problem they face that if they put one AZ down, within few minutes it's automatic go up. So literally they will not able to test their BCP drill, their drill. So that's the benefit AI can add. Over to you.
And I think this is what enterprises expect to ensure that the BCP is right there in proper space and working condition, ensuring that there are no hiccups in case of any incident that happens. And I'll move to you because YT gives us an essence from the digital native. Being you in your organization and industry, you would have seen that transition. So from that way, what has been your approaches?
So, so good afternoon, all. First of all, I would like to give a disclaimer. It's the views are personal and not from my organization side. So that's the number one. So when I talk about the AI usage, so I think every organization first should not go by the fancy AI thing which they want to do. Yes, it's very much needed, but at the end of the day, it's the use case that each organization should identify first. Okay, so maybe it's an EDR or an proxy or threat detection or the vulnerability prioritization. So all those use cases should be started as a small, POC kind of a thing, and seen across whether those are really having an value add or the impact to which the organization can get an ROI. So that is number one, which every organization should do, and a CISO should think of from the perspective where it's at then beneficial, to CISO as well as to the organization. That is number one. Primarily, as an use case, industry is working towards the threat detection and response, because that is where the maximum AI capabilities. Because if, say, suppose there are a number of IOCs or the threat actors that are coming in day out, maybe in thousands numbers or in certain times or certain lakhs, you cannot define it manually or through traditional signatures and whatsoever. You will require a threat model through which you understand and respond to those attacks automatically. That's where we have soared through many years now. But now the question is this to us, like, how many of us has eventually moved to soar and to the full capability that we're using? So ideally, the first case should be whatever the tools that you have, you should speak to your partners, get the understanding how they are leveraging AI, because at the end, AI is nothing but you will be using certain tools, technologies, and you will be dependent on your OEMs to have that leverage. Because we are not at the very nirvana stage of AI, we are at the nascent stage of AI to start with in the cybersecurity. So that's where I think one should always focus and take a decisive call how it can be done. Yeah.
And as the nature of these AI is definitely helping them. I would say it's taking on both the sides. So, Nasib, that thought, considering large enterprises, the challenge and the complexity further increases. So, how do you leverage artificial intelligence or say machine learning uh, specifically towards behavior driven threat intelligence, and how do you anticipate those threats and mitigate those risks?
Yeah. So, so basically, I will divide this into three parts. So organizations basically should have the UEBA component, uh, user entity behavior and analytics, right? So it was earlier UBA, started with UBA, user behavior analytics, then it gone the next level and UEBA came. So I would suggest the risky user monitoring, or for example, the monitoring of the users, uh, maybe login pattern of the user. For example, he's login from India. Maybe in another minute, you have got the login audit trails, maybe from an Australia or from a US. You should have that mechanism so the behavior is malicious, right? Okay. Similarly, in servers, the entity, if you pick up entity, so you have to monitor the patterns. For example, the server which any CPU or a resource utilization spiked up, right? So generally, maybe over a period of time, you have not seen that behavior of the entity or a user which is going little abnormal. So you will have to have the mechanism to detect it. And like one of my colleagues said, you should have a SOAR in place to detect and take an automated action to block it. Okay, that is the UEBA. We should have in our EDR tool, maybe in your SOC, you should have a use cases who should take care of this specific use case to detect and mitigate. Another, I would say, you should have a AI and ML driven detection mechanism. Okay, so for example, any malicious files are getting maybe executed on your endpoint or a server, or any user who is maybe downloading bulk or uploading in a bulk. So you can get the sense of maybe he would have resigned and maybe leaking the data outside. So again, you should have a rules in place, automatic rules, I would say, not the rules or use cases, but AI ML based driven mechanism, some kind of that should detect such kind of behavior, correlate and alert, and even take the automated action. So that is the AI ML driven approach, I would suggest. And again, similar to this line, you should have a 0 day. If there are any 0 day attacks for which the signatures are not available, right? So again, this should be detected uh, based on the behavior, based on the AI and ML engines, definitely. And again, block it in a real time. Block it, create a policy, maybe on-demand policy should get created to tackle such kind of maybe threats in future, and even report it, alert it, and maybe create some kind of report for the uh, SOC analyst. That is
Okay.
should
So-
have, yeah.
While we've heard all these mechanisms and tools and programs in place, Naseem, I'll come back to you because I'm sure across the organizations, they are equally prepared from their side with preventive measures, with real time assessment. But then there are days when things spike up unexpectedly. And I'm sure last 1-2 weeks have been a good example for that. You would have seen unexpected and the kind of volume which would have increased in terms of difference in behavioral aspects. So, how has been the approach considering all these aspects when suddenly unexpected occur for which even the tool was maybe not 100% ready to, take a head on with it?
Yeah. So I would say, I'm completely agree with you. And it's more like, the behavior chat GPT done to Gavin and Simarpreet, right? It's like, they are giving answer as per their happiness. So, today I would say that traditional approach is actually gone, right? That I have a single answer for everything. It's not like that. It's more like the adaptive answer. And, or I would say the engines are adaptive in nature, right? It's basically coming up how and what is going on, right? So there are cases where we literally have open up to access our core infrastructure from probably in different countries, right? When we're seeing this volume without naming any solution, I have seen there are few solutions who literally checking two factor, putting additional captcha before giving those access. So that is what we require, right? And I believe not only me, people who are from, especially people who are from BFSI sector, last 2-3 weeks, I'm sure they lost their sleep, and they has to. Even I was telling one of my BFSI regulatory CISOs that sir aap bhi so jao aur hame bhi sone do. Every day I'm sure everybody was getting a lot of notification advisories, but I can assure one thing: we are taking action for those IOCs. We are blocking them. But the problem is like that you are literally not getting any or the chances of getting any traffic from those marked bad IPs or bad IOCs is very less. Your IPs, your IOCs is completely different. The time you learn about it, you share with somebody, literally the damage is already done. So it has to be adaptive in nature. It has to be fixed by themselves, which understanding of the system, understanding of that infrastructure or environment and data point, however you are going to put. And I would say again, as I am into this digital native business for last almost 10 years, what I have seen, literally we have that benefit to being part of pure digital. Literally, I think, and somebody was talking about the legacy system issues. Literally, we don't have that issues. And the AI, the back of any AI engine is data points, right? If you are into part of that digital native business where you have a lot of SQL data point, then your adaptability nature will be much more higher. The response will be much more higher, much quicker, and that's going to add a value to your system.
Okay, great. So, Salaudin, as we have heard from the CISO panelist, they have shared their concerns, the threats that they face day to day or even in unexpected incidents. From a solutioning standpoint, when we talk about Versa, how are they leveraging AI and autonomous natively into the network fabrics to proactively defend these kind of threats and for a faster response aspects or say more autonomous remediation?
Yeah, excellent. So from a Versa solutioning standpoint, right, the AI and machine learning is directly embedded into our control plane and data plane. What does that mean is that threat identification and mitigation is not an afterthought. It's the part of the foundation, right? At the core, what we do is we integrate networking, security with a common data lake, which means deep visibility. That's one of the key aspect of whatever we want to do next. So that deep visibility enables us to see what's happening in the fabric, be it user activity, some of the activities we have heard, be it device activity, or be it a traffic flow. Right. So with that, what are the key things that we are delivering? For example, one is behavior-driven detection. Right. Some of the behaviors, the platform continuously look for anomalies. Right. Some of the anomalies we heard that some user is certainly started uploading a bunch of encrypted data to an unknown destination, or some user is trying to access a particular resource for the very first time. Right. These are not very signature driven approach. Right. But there is no signature for it. But the platform can certainly flag it out. Now it can do a couple of actions. Right? One of the action you spoke about that, let's say the user is trying to do something for the very first time. Instead of relying on just pure authentication, throw him a challenge, right? Ask him, give me an OTP. And that's one way of doing it. The other thing that we do is AI driven kind of threat analysis, threat detection, and threat classification, right? So what happens is instead of flooding SOC with lot of alerts, we can augment them, we can look at them and prioritize them, kind of give a high confidence score and risk score for it, right? So that the analyst can focus on what they're good at, right? Not triaging all sort of alerts, and so releasing alert fatigue and things like that, right? That's the second one. Third one is automated mitigation, right? Let's say there's an attack happening or trying to happen. Can we isolate that particular device and then put that traffic through a deeper inspection engine on demand automatically, no human intervention, right? For example, let's take an example that a ransomware attack attempt is happening, and immediately shut down lateral movement, make that device go through a scrubbing flow while maintaining the uptime and availability for the unaffected system, right? And the fourth one we can talk about, what we do is continuous learning. There is nothing happens without continuous learning, right? We heard in the previous discussion that trust is a decaying factor. It's a factor of decay, right? So we continuously learn, adapt the platform automatically. Let's say a new device is added, new user is added. So the baseline is changing, right? So changing baseline has to be adopted. Once we adopt that, that's a critical for zero trust environment, right? So we understand that. Now, how does it translate into customer result, right? So one we saw, right, faster detection, right, detection and mitigation. So even before a ticket is raised, we can isolate an environment and let analysts do the job next, right? So that's one of the benefit that our customer gets. Second is, of course, the overhead is reduced, right? You are not looking at triaging multiple alerts, rather than you're only looking at an alert which has a high confidence incident and a risk score, right? You can look at that. And then of course this goes into lesser overhead as well, right? So that's what how we do in terms of the platform, and we do all of these things through not multiple softwares. It's essentially done through one software stack. That means there is a less problem in terms of integration. It is a single pass architecture and one platform to look at, right? Both in terms of the visibility and administration. So that's how we help our customers.
Done. So, while providers like Versa are there, so I would like to check that with distributed workforce, how do you ensure that there is performance consistency specifically for these cloud native architectures? Along with that, how do you ensure that the security controls are also standardized with that distributed workforce?
See, what happens is, like, after COVID, all the company functioning on the workforce the mindset has changed, right? So what it requires is where once the users are working remotely, you have to firstly have the very strong controls on the endpoints, maybe through various technologies and tools that you are doing it. But at the end of the day, the more important is the effectiveness of those technologies you are checking on regular basis. When I say regular basis, you should have a monthly effectiveness metrics, like what is your total asset count of the end user, whatever is the live, then what is the parameters on which you will define the metrics for, say, suppose EDR, DLP, and proxy or whatsoever. So those are the standard parameters which one should follow, so that it gives a very good view, to the management as well as to the CISO and to the IT governance team as well. So that is the one fundamental thing one had to do. Secondly, whenever a workforce is connecting remotely, you should help them with the strong VPN and also multi-factor authentication, which is a non-negotiable in today's world, or today's age, which is a bare minimum one should always do. Secondly, the most important fact, the employees you take care. Then secondly, it's also the vendors or the partners who connect to your network. The most important thing is where you cannot provide a standard VPN to them, because at the end you also need to ensure the data privacy thing of the data getting copied to their local system once they have it and everything. So you should have a VDI kind of a solution where the multi-factor is enabled, and there is a I would say black screenshot which comes across if they try to copy anything. So all those basic controls will help you to safeguard your organization in a very good way as per the current trend. That's the primary thing which one should do. And apart from that, I think obviously the zero trust is the end stage which everybody talks about. But yes, you will also have to see as in CISO or as an governance head or the IT head whether the zero trust is really meeting your use case, or really you are in need of that, because it's good to have a zero trust, but then from the ROI or the cost benefit per se, every CISO should have a assessment being done. What is the risk leverage that they take, and their management is ready to buy. So that is one thing which you can.
Tasneem, if we would like to add further to what Mayank elaborated.
Yes. So what Mayank said, I just want to add something. So, zero trust, we all are talking about zero trust. And these days, the users are going on an edge. Okay. There is no location for a users. Employees are working from home, from hotels, coming maybe out of 5 days, they're coming 3 days in office, traveling, logging in from anywhere. Okay. So all are from edge. So my take on would be there should be a standard security policy, irrespective to where they are accessing data from, or applications or a servers. So zero trust. They should not trust on the entity or a systems, and there should be a posture, a check mechanism. Okay, where on the move, on demand access, all these accesses should get validated, verified. That is the zero trust, right? So user will not be trusted, even access control will not be trusted. Application, which is a destination application, the controls, which is there in the endpoints. So all those checks as a posture check should have been done. For example, EDR, whatever controls you might have, the proxy control, the policy. So ultimately, user should feel the seamless experience wherever they are going, whether remote, within office. That is one. Point number two, if you want to have a restricted access, maybe if they are going outside, you can have that profile also created. So whenever they are outside, you can have a limited profile created so that these many applications, they will have an access when they are outside. And when they are coming in office, the network should be intelligent enough to detect they came into the office, and their access should be elevated so that they can have access to other servers or applications also. So I think that is a part of zero trust, and that will be my take on should be the strategy organization should opt. Yeah.
Okay. While our time is up, just quickly one last thing that if you had an AI-powered cybersecurity co-pilot and it had one superpower to future-proof your enterprise, what superpower would it be? Just quickly, quick responses starting from Naseem.
For cybersecurity. Hello. Yeah. I think for cybersecurity, one point is very well accepted as on date that everybody will, I think they already compromised, or they don't know, or they will get compromised, right? So for me, that superpower would be resilience. I literally look for resilience because everybody has been faced that. So resilience would be the superpower I'm looking for.
Great. Mayank?
So for me, it will be the cyber posture, giving me a one consolidated real-time view from the perspective of the cyber controls that has been deployed and how effective it is. That is something that I will
So
look
that
at.
single view.
So I want to have or aspire, I should have a complete AI-based cyber defense center in place where I don't have to do anything, only monitoring, okay? So all threats in real time should get identified, detected, blocked, complete automation, security, orchestration should be in place. And we'll see how I can improvise or make that. There will be some definitely false positive actions will also be there. So my time would then go into the optimization or reduction of the false positive alerts. But vision should be the complete AI-based CDC, Cyber Defense Center.
Great. Anything from you, Salahuddin?
So we are in the process of building certain things, right? Our colleague spoke about AI Copilot in our system that we already have. What we are allowing our customers to interact with the platform using English, right? Just normal questions that tell me how my users are performing. And instead of we as an administrator go and do certain stuff, the AI is doing in the backend and give us actionable outcomes, right? So currently the Copilot that we have is giving us actionable outcome, some of the things that we spoke about, and probably some of our aspirational. At some point we'll go there.
So the superpower is already with them. Thank you so much to the panelists for your inputs, and thank you audience for being there with us.